What is going on, everyone? Hope you all are having a blessed Monday. We are just days away from Houston Texans training camp. I can't tell you how excited I am. This, for me, is really the start of the season. Not only did we get to see these Houston Texans get to work, but we also get to be with our fellow swarmers who show up from all over the country, all over the world to see this football team. That's one of the reasons why I love training camp. It's not just the players, but it's the fellow fans with me who are standing in line for hours, whether it's 110 degrees outside, whether it's raining 10 inches outside. Swarms, man, and I absolutely love that about training camp. So let me know down below in the comments which days you will be attending. The day that has the most comments, man, we'll get together after. We'll go to a bar, get some food, grab some brew. Excited about this. But we are going to continue what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. Some Houston Texans that we are keeping our eye on as we get into training camp and during training camp. Now, we've mentioned quite a few players. Jake Andrews, the center. Laken Tomlinson, the left guard. Titus Howard, the right guard. Christian Kirk, the new vet wide receiver. But I want to move the direction to one of our new coaches, and that is offensive coordinator Nick Caley. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the offense last year was just atrocious. I mean, how many times did we score in quarters 3 and 4? Not a lot. The Houston Texans said bye-bye Bobby Slowick and hello Nick Caley. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to tell you what I want to see from our new Houston Texan offensive coordinator. My name is Mr. 713, and this is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. Please make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Caley, coming from the Los Angeles Rams, was a tight ends coach and a pass game coordinator. Now, all throughout his time in the NFL, it was majorly as a tight ends coach. Now, if you watch Barstool like I do, Coach John Gruden said, why you love offensive coordinators that are former tight ends coach is because they know every aspect of the offense, not only the pass game, the run game, the blocking scheme. They have to know everything, which was one of the reasons why I got excited about Nick Caley. Now, what I want to see once I'm at training camp is I want to see the energy. Because, tell me if I'm wrong, when you go to Houston Texans training camp, you immediately know who Frank Ross is, the special teams coach, just because how loud he is, how energetic he is. Of course, you're going to know who D'Amico Ryans is. You know who general manager Nick Caserio is, that he stands at the opposite side of the field with his hands behind his back just looking. It was hard for you to find Bobby Slowick last year. Once you locked in on that oversized cap, you knew that was Bobby. I want to hear Nick Caley. I want to see Nick Caley running up and down the field. It sounds like he loves ball. I want to see that out there. Hey, when we're talking about this season, like I said, we're an offensive line away. If Nick Caley truly is that guy, we could potentially get there, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see some old reminiscences of New England out there. I want to see some reminiscences of Los Angeles out there. What I mean by that is, I just want to see what this Houston Texan offense could potentially be under new offensive coordinator Nick Caley. I don't want him just pulling from the Los Angeles Rams just because Sean McVay is now viewed as the brightest offensive-minded coach, but also what he took back from New England, the way they used those running backs, Shane Vereen, James White, Rex Burkhead, just names that are not big but effective when they run the ball, effective when they catch the ball. I want to see Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Dare, Damian Pierce just look entirely different than what we've seen the previous 2 years. I want to see a different offense out there. I want to see an offense where everyone's looking at each other from the corner of the eye and saying, "Man, I can't believe I just saw that." I also want to see Nick Caley, when things go wrong, chew them out. Don't be afraid. Because if you really practice what you preach, and Nick Caley said at the beginning, of his press conference that, he's also going to focus on who the player is under the helmet. Well, if you are in the process of working on that relationship and building that, then chewing someone out, they should have no problem with it because it's coming from a place of love. That's also what I want to see, is how connected Nick Caley is to these Houston Texans players, because it's been, it's kind of been hinted at that, the players didn't mesh well with Bobby Slowick. We heard the story of Bobby Slowick and CJ Stroud getting into an argument during the draft process interview when Bobby Slowick just got the job as offensive coordinator. You want to feel like the coaches have your back, and I want to see a relationship between the players and new offensive coordinator Nick Caley. The same way it is with the players and DeMeco Ryans. You can tell there's a general love and friendship there. I always bring up the moment where whenever DeMeco Ryans got his first his first press conference and he brought up Fred Warner, he brought up the fact that he was married. We're talking about football, but hey, he's a married man. You kind of get those vibes from Nick Caley. If I see the energy for the good, for the bad, if we see a new offense out there where we are saying, this doesn't look like the previous 2 years, I think it's going to give me some confidence going into the 2025 season. And I feel like it could give, others confidence as well. Don't let us get to that joint practice and we find out that we're bombing all over the Carolina Panthers and the Detroit Lions. I'm excited for new offensive coordinator Nick Caley, because his offense last year took a huge step back. There's only up from here, right? What type of expectations do I have for this offense? I mean, middle of the pack. I'll tell you what, give me a top 15 offense. Boy, that's middle of the pack. Come on, Ruben. Give me a top 15 offense. And I feel like I can go far this season. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How do you feel about new Houston Texans offensive coordinator Nick Caley? So what I want to see from him is the energy, the good, and the bad. I want to see a new Houston Texan offense out there, right? Utilizing these running backs, utilizing these tight ends like Nick Caley said he wanted to do. I love tight ends is what Nick Caley said. And, just the relationship between him and the Houston Texan offensive players. Is there a relationship? Because I think that's a huge part of the success of a team, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, for more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free and follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day.